Hello, and welcome to Homer for Thursday, June 19th, 2025. Today, we will be reading from lines 107 down to 121. Today's passage is very exciting. We see the finishing up of yesterday's fight against Antiphus and Isis, and we also have a beautiful Homeric simile. I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. But now the son of Atreus, wide-ruling Agamemnon, struck Isis on the breast above the nipple with a cast of his spear. And Antiphus he smote hard by the ear with his sword, and cast him from the chariot, ek debal hipon. Then he made haste to strip from the twain their goodly battle gear, knowing them full well, for he had seen them before by the swift ships, when Achilles, fleet of foot, brought them from Ida. And as a lion easily crusheth the little ones of a swift hind, when he hath seized them with his strong teeth, and hath come to their lair, and taketh from them their tender life. And the mother, though she chance to be very near, cannot succor them, for on herself too cometh dread trembling, and swiftly she darteth through the thick brush and the woodland, hasting and sweating before the onset of the mighty beast. Even so was no one of the Trojans able to ward off destruction from these twain, but themselves were driven in flight before the Argives. Let's sing it. De tote gatreides euro creion Agamemnon Mon menu per mas doio catastethos paleduri Antifonau para uose la sexi feec de balhipon Sper come nostra potoi in suola teoke akala Qui gnoscon kai gars feparos paraneos intoesin Eide no texides agagen poras uocus acielaus Hoste leon la fueo taceis nebia tecna Rei dios une axela bon kratoroi sinoduosin Alton eseo nena palontes vetora paura Et perte ducesi malaska tonua duna taisfi Chrais men auten garmino potromos ainos icanei Car palimos ere ixe diadruama puc nakai uolein Spaudus iadroa sacrataiu eteros uformes Osara toi sutis dunato crais mes aeolethron Tron alla kai auto hubargei oisi febonto Awesome. So, one of the best parts about the Iliad is the beautiful similes and metaphors that take place. And generally these similes and these metaphors and these allegories, Homeric allegories, they have to do with the person in question who's, on the scene. And here we have Agamemnon. Throughout this book of the Iliad, book 11, there are 7 instances of Homeric similes that have to do with lions. And these lion similes are often in this cadence, right? So although it is a very beautiful image, it's a very brutal image, but, he smote him hard by the ear and he cast him from the chariot, and Isis was struck in his chest, right? Right? You have this question, right, which is, why were they taken, right? So the first time they were taken by Achilles, once again we get an Achilles mention, right? So there's a redoubling of their honor and their memory in this death by the fact that they are recognized. So Agamemnon recognizes them from when they were taken from Ida. But at the same time, Agamemnon has transformed into this lion, right? And the lion easily crushes the little ones of a swift hind, right? Hosteleon elefoio takeis nepia tekna redios uneaxe, right? Redios, right? That's this, takes them suneaxe, right? It's almost like you feel the, I tried to do this with the pitch accent, but you feel the grabbing with the very strong teeth, kataruoisin or duusin, right? Hosteleon elefoio takeis nepia tekna redios suneaxe, right? It's almost like you can feel the lion leaping out of the lines to grab these two. And obviously these two are really capable warriors, right? They're not little, babies of fawns, right? But they are babies. They are small, and they are ripped from their mother in the metaphor of them being taken away by the Trojans, right? And one imagines the Trojans, obviously, she's trying to get him back, right? She's, even if she's spot nearby, malaskeron, dunatais fikrais main, right? She can't bring them back, right? Because a great fear takes her. Obviously, a mother would very much love to, have her children back, right? But here, that is an impossibility because of the fear that overtakes her. So too does the entire host, the mother, right, of these two men, right, the Trojan host. So too were they unable. They were unable to fend off destruction, but they were driven in flight by the Argives. Is there a better way of describing this, is the question. I think that this fits very well, and it is a symptom of the high sense of unity and particular natural beauty of the Homeric epic that you find such a well-accorded terminal analogy. And by terminal, I mean that, like, everybody in this metaphor is tragic, right? So the line is tragic in the sense that there's an inevitability of taking the fawns. The mother is tragic in that it's inevitable that she's too afraid in order to get her children back. And finally, Antiphus and Isos are tragic because they never got to be rescued by their friends here, right? It's they can't be ransomed again because they're dead now, right? So it's just their bodies. But that's, it's over, and they're not even going to get their bodies back, right? The tragedy is the question of whether or not the bodies matter at all, right? So they ransomed them when they were alive, but now that they're not alive, are they worth following up on? Are they worth chasing, right? And I guess the answer is it doesn't even matter because, they're too afraid in order to try to kreismein them back, them back, fend off their fear. They flee from the Argives in flight, and that will be the general theme of Agamemnon's lion-like accomplishments. But it's like a perfect natural instance, right, of this otherwise, poetic scene, and I think that's quite remarkable. And that's why I ask in a very unrhetorical way, is there a better metaphor that is more closely attached to something in nature? This is, I think, one of the reasons why Homer is so beautiful, because we are all human and we are still very close to nature in many key ways. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this discourse through the metaphor, this Homeric simile, and I look forward to sharing more with you tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful day. Bye.